Deep Rock Galactic is a cooperative FPS mining game developed by Danish indie studio Ghost Ship Games. You play as one of 4 class specialties, collect important resources, fight alien life forms, and impress your boss, all while being a dashing dwarf in space, and mostly underground. We jumped into the experimental version of the game so we could show you and break down all the different weapons at your disposal, of course, once you level up and unlock them. Every dwarf in Deep Rock Galactic has their own distinct types of gear consisting of armor, support tools, and weapons. The primary and secondary weapon slots each have a choice of 2 weapons, once you unlock them via the assignment board. All weapons can be modified in multiple ways to fit your unique playstyle and the enemies you'll face in your next mission. In our breakdowns, our main focus will be on the weapons themselves minus the mods, but we'll briefly highlight our favorite mods thus far. Today's focus is on the gunner. For the gunner's primary weapon slot, you have the Leadstorm powered minigun and the Thunderhead heavy autocannon. Here are just some highlights of the Leadstorm. It has good mid to long range. Weapon takes a little bit of time to wind up and gain improved accuracy. It overheats and locks up after a specific amount of constant fire. Now, it only does 8 damage per bullet, but has a high fire rate to balance it out. It has high max ammo, which means you won't have to worry too much about calling down a supply drop for more ammo. Leadstorm feels like it shreds through enemies. It has a really nice range to initiate combat long before the enemies are on top of you. That said, you'll have to be careful about how much ammo you use. It can be easy to blow through your 2,400 bullets if there's a swarm incoming, and there's no reload available until you call down for an ammo supply drop. And as with most miniguns, it can easily overheat. This causes a short cooldown period where you won't be able to use the Leadstorm. Now, some of the mods that we happen to like for this weapon are improved platform stability to assist with accuracy, especially when initially firing, oversized drum, which increases ammo by 600, hardened rounds, which is 200% armor break bonus, which is great against some of the tougher shielded enemies, lighter barrel assembly, shortened spin-up time, which gets you to improved accuracy sooner. And finally, cold as the grave. Every kill cools the gun down for longer, consistent firing. Now, here are some highlights on the Thunderhead autocannon. It's a good mid-range weapon. It starts with a fair amount of ammunition in the clip as well. Plus, there's no overheating. Also, with more continuous firing comes an increased fire rate. Now, long-range shots work okay, but their accuracy does drop. And the weapon feels really good to handle and has a solid 14 damage per shot, plus 8 explosive area damage, which means 22 total damage depending on the circumstances. Overall, the weapon does a good job of damaging stronger enemies, or enemies that are closely grouped up, thanks to that area damage. In certain situations and with the right mods, this gun could excel as a boss killer. One of the problems this weapon suffers from is the lowered accuracy, especially when enemies are at a distance and you're low on ammo, and bullets actually hitting their target starts to matter. The mods that we like for this weapon thus far are expanded ammo bags, which adds 220 more ammunition to the total carried, tighter barrel alignment, which improves accuracy, high velocity rounds, increases damage to 18, penetrating rounds, increases armor break by 400%, and finally resistance at full rate of fire, damage reduction when at full rate of fire. Now, when it comes to our preference for the gunner's primary weapon, effective weapons and mod choices can be very situational, but our current preference is to go with the Leadstorm. We really like the long range of the weapon. We can initiate combat from further away and be able to weaken enemies until they're in range of our teammates' weapons. Its fast fire rate and lack of reload ability are both great for intense fights. Shoot fast, shoot many, as long as you can make your shots count. Now, for the gunner's secondary weapon slot, you're choosing between the BULLDOG heavy revolver and the BERT, or BRT, 7-burst fire gun. So let's talk about the highlights of the BULLDOG. The BULLDOG basically is a classic revolver, best at close quarters or mid-range. The ammo in each clip is limited, but the BULLDOG makes up for it with high damage from every shot. The fire rate is slower than other guns. If you're suddenly surrounded by enemies, this can be a challenging weapon to start using. The reload is also a little on the slow side, so make your shots count and watch your back when you stop to reload. Overall, with precision and a little patience, this gun can be absolutely nasty against any enemy type. The high damage output means you use less ammo than other guns, all other things being equal, and it's great if the enemy is barreling down on your position. It's also very useful against many of the hardier enemies, for example creatures that are armored and you need something for precision shots at weak points. On the other hand, this weapon is not always great against fast-moving enemies or those that fly around you. So the mods that we like for the Bulldog are Quick Fire Ejector, which means faster reload, Floating Barrel, which improves firing stability so you can get back on your target quicker after each shot, Stun, which gives you a chance to stun per shot fired, High Velocity Rounds, which increases damage to 65, and finally, Glyphid Neurotoxin Coating, bonus damage against Glyphid enemies. Now onto the highlights for the BERT 7. Just like with other SMGs, this gun does well up close, but not really at range. This weapon can keep up with faster enemies though, and if enemies sneak up on you, you can burst fire multiple rounds to stagger them. Though we do have to say, it's easy to go through your ammo quickly and not actually be able to do enough damage to kill an enemy before you have to reload. Overall, this is a very different experience from the Bulldog. The BERT 7 is very effective against the smaller and faster enemies, but feels lacking when going up against the larger ones. The weapon can, however, be great at the end of a mission when you have to run to the drop pod and usually find yourself swarmed by enemies on the way. So the mods we like for this weapon are High Velocity Rounds, which increases damage to 15, Quick Fire Ejector, which increases reload speed, Increased Caliber Rounds, which increases overall damage to 19, Expanded Ammo Bags, which means max ammo increases to 215, and Burst Stagger, staggers targets if the entire burst hits that target. So in the end, what's our preference for the gunner's secondary weapon? Well, after playing around with both the Bulldog and the BERT 7, our vote goes to the Bulldog. Though the Bulldog is a slower gun, it packs a punch and will take less ammunition to down an enemy. It also balances well with the faster Lead Storm, so equipping these two for the gunner is a good way to go. If an enemy has been weakened at range but is still barreling toward you, you want to kill the enemy and move on as quickly as possible. The Bulldog with precision helps you do that. If you're looking for a class that involves dumping a lot of lead when facing swarms of alien enemies, make sure to check out the Gunner. And if you're a Deep Rock Galactic vet, let us know your favorite class and weapons in the comments below. And did you enjoy this breakdown and want to see more? Well, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to be the first notified as more videos launch here on MindMineTV.